Welcome back to A Pearl in Every Cow's Lips here. This is CLE Language Arts 800 Book 4, recorded live right here in the classroom. I hope you enjoy. Language Arts 8 Lesson 1, Developing Fictional Characters Through Description. First of all, some questions. What are coordinating conjunctions? Those are correlative, neither nor.
Oh, for and, but, or yet, and so.
Good. Correlative conjunctions, neither nor.
Either or, but also not only.
And both and. Good, we got them. Do compound subjects always use a plural verb?
No.
No, sometimes they don't. When do compound subjects join with and use a singular verb? When do we have compound subjects join with and that we actually use a singular verb? When we're talking about macaroni and cheese. We're talking about just one thing and joins together. Okay, what do we use? Either Brandon or Justin has or have the book we need. Has. One or the other has. Cookies and cream is or are. Is. And here's exactly what we were talking about, cookies and cream. Charles and Jeremy is or are planning to move.
Are planning.
Together they are planning to move the couch tonight. Charles, I don't think it's usually spelled like that. It should have the L and the E switched around. Oh well, we won't worry about it. Is this verb transitive or intransitive? Brady works at St. Lawrence Equipment in Bridgewater. Brady works at St. Lawrence Equipment in Bridgewater. What's it transferring the action to?
Oh.
Brady works at St. Lawrence Equipment in Bridgewater.
It's intransitive.
Nothing. It's intransitive. What about this one? The King James Version of the Bible was published in 1611. The King James Version was published in transitive, and what's receiving the action?
James Version.
King James Version, the subject. It's referring back to the subject. Great. The new lesson is developing fictional characters through description. You're going to have to write a scene for lesson whatever it is, 14, 15, 16. Wherever the writing assignment is at the end of the book, you're going to have to use a scene. And I think we're going to use both description of the character, what the character looks like, and then action and words to reveal the character. So the description of the character would just be plain what he looks like. In the beginning of The Old Man and the Sea, we suddenly run into a bit of a description of what this guy looks like. He's saying nothing, doing nothing. The old man was thin and gaunt with deep wrinkles in the back of his neck. The brown blotches of the benevolent skin cancer the sun brings from its reflection on the tropic sea were on his cheeks. The blotches ran well down the sides of his face, and his hands had the deep creased scars from heavy handling fish on the cords. But none of the scars were fresh. They were as old as erosions in a fishless desert. Everything about him was old except his eyes, and they were the same color as the sea and were cheerful and undefeated. With an old wrinkled neck, wrinkled hands. Obviously he's not been catching fish, but his eyes are cheerful and undefeated. That's a great description. We get a picture of this guy. They give you a description of the character in David Copperfield. So you need to choose a character and give him a description. Writers are very careful with their characters to make them interesting. You need to have an interesting story. It needs to do interesting stuff. But you also have to have interesting characters. And good writers often will affix to a character in the story to an actual character in real life. You might not know who it is, but an actual character in real life. If I were writing a story right now about anything, and I needed 3 characters, or 4 characters in my story, I would probably choose from the characters I know, characters that surround us here in this village. Probably I would put in a character that'd be like Marcello. Why? So colorful. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could write about him. I would maybe put in a character that would be like, and I hate to say these things on a recording, but a character like Marius. Why again? Very colorful. Lots of stuff you could do with him. Maybe someone like that. Choose, so what you could do is you can have a character in your mind and kind of build your character around that. Now, don't picture one of these people such as Marcello. Don't just picture him and write exactly how you know he would dress. I mean, you know how he would dress, although you really don't know, because he dresses weirdly every time it's different. So it's fine if you want to picture this character in your head and then you just kind of describe them, but I would change just a few details about the character to make it your own character, not just straight up stolen. Think about what you're going to describe. You could describe his clothes, the kind of clothes he wears. Are they bright? Are they dark? Are they tight? Are they stylish? Are they shabby? You could describe the features of his face. Is he kind of a, and here we're going to start getting into, you could describe his weight. Is he skinny? Is he just really round? And usually if he's round, he's going to be what kind of a person?
Short.
Short, yes. And what kind of a character maybe?
Oh, happy.
Happy. For some reason, round and happy we think are the same. And if he's going to be skinny and bony, then maybe we won't trust him. You know, maybe he's going to end up being a bad guy in the story. For some reason, that's the way we think. But think about his weight. Think about his hair. Is it cut short? Is it long? Is it clean? Is it dirty? Do you even see it? Is it covered up with a cap? And think about his eyes. That's another great thing. Are they sparkling? Do they look half dead? You know, do they have a faraway look in them? Are there lots of wrinkles around them? Are they bright and shining? As you do, what I would do is do just a paragraph describing the character. So John came stumbling up the walk. His boots, you know, and you could talk. So you could start from the bottom. You could say his boots, then you could talk about his pants. You could talk about his old coat, and then you could talk about the arms hanging out of his coat. And then see, we're drawing in. We're trying to get closer and closer. And then you can maybe come to his face, and then you could come to his eyes. And that would be a great way of just bringing your reader, bringing your character into the story. Actually, but you bring your reader from this figure coming up the walk, and then he's having a closer and closer look at him to see who he is. And then I believe in lesson 6 and in lesson 9, we're going to add some more things so that at the end you'll have just one scene, not a story, just one scene, a scene in which this character you've created will do what it's going to do. They say if you're going to write a book, you really should know every character that you have, and you should know what this guy eats for breakfast, what his favorite hobbies are, all these things. Not that you will include them in the story, but you will need to know your character that well. So when you put him in the story, he comes alive. He's a real guy. Remember this, though. Remember this, though. Description is, I think, the worst way to show who someone is. Clothes don't make the man, necessarily. And you can't judge a book by its cover, right? So this is the weakest. When we get to actions and words, there are even better ways of showing who this character actually is. But clothes are useful. They're still useful. Think of a paragraph. Name your character. Bring him into the story. And you can have in the back of your mind someone maybe that you know from real life. And you could just kind of paint it a bit, flesh him out, make him come alive. Enjoy. I'm going to read the spelling words first of all, though. Arable, combustible, despicable, eligible, fallible, flammable, formidable, implacable, inevitable, memorable, palatable, persona, personable, personal, personality, personification, personnel, plausible, pliable, tangible. Oh, enjoy.